Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryankaravavahe Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma Vidvishavai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara Guru Deva Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Chinmayam Vyapiya Sarvam Trailokyam Sacharacharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. Om Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. Om Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. Ramaya Ramabhadraya Ramachandraya Vedase Raghunathaya Nathaya Sitaya Pataye Namaha. Anjananandanam Veeram Janaki Shokanashakam Kapisham Akshaham Taram Vande Lanka Payankaram. So last week we saw how intelligent mantra was. And it just takes one person to cause such a ripple effect of events, and that person can do it knowingly, and sometimes they do it unknowingly. Here Mantra was very conscious of what she's doing, and so immense repercussions of karma. And today we're going to be seeing Nisa Hara Maharaj is a king in that Ramchandraji meets now, and he's an exile. And in that section, when there's the Lakshman Gita, and a lot of the Lakshman Gita is about this, about how we are creating karmas, and then we are facing our karmas. And so, like, if you know, so many different ways in which we can summarize life. Life is. And then it's a nice activity. What do you say life is? Giving and getting love. So nice. All of life is just that. And it's true also, right? And what is life? Series of mistakes. Yeah, that's also life. And then this definition of life is doing karmas and getting the consequences, facing the consequences. That's all life is, doing karmas and facing consequences. So mantra, very deliberately set into motion, quite a horrendous pattern, ripple effect, causing so much heartache to so many people, right? So this is what determines what our karma is, the amount of pain we cause the other person. That's the criteria of judging. And it's our intention to. My intention was to hurt. Here it's so clear cut. Mantra's intention was to hurt. Now we might think in our lives, no, we're not like that. But we are. Maybe not as large scale as mantra. Sometimes you get into a fight. Could be with a spouse, or it could be with siblings. These tend to be the most common ones where I've seen it. And then we get so angry with this person. And usually, because we know them so well, and the fight is something that's gone back and forth a few times, we tend to fight about the same things, right? Again and again and again. And then sometimes we're just in a mood. And we think, and the thing is, when we're fighting with someone we know so well, we know what's going to hurt. And we say it. And then they get hurt. And there's this moment of victory, which is so short-lived, because then we think, oh, what did I do? Why did I do it? But in that moment, we intend. We want to win the fight. We want to show them. We have spite. We have, of course, it's anger taken over our thinking, but it's intentional. So we do it in small ways. Or sometimes I've seen it with bosses, employers, and employees. They're just waiting to correct or waiting to, I'm like, so let's say one employee reports the other one, this one's goes on break for longer than they should be. So then, they're standing there watching. And we'll get them. Whereas, so like everyone, if they're getting their work done, if by and large things are fine, then leave it, right? But here it's asserting my power. I have to, make sure they know I am boss. So there's intention on it. It's intention to belittle, right? It's intention to control. And so everything we are doing is a action, and then those actions have repercussions. So like what mantra did, I think in the history, I think some Cleopatra. Is it Cleopatra in Egypt that was accused of doing the same thing? She also broke a whole nation, right? She played the person in power against each other. What's his name? Caesar. Something. I don't remember the story. I don't think I even know the story. You just hear it. You just hear quotes about how it was so malicious and so vindictive, right? Betrayal and all of that. So but sometimes in life, in people's life story, somebody is highly emotional and wants attention and does a big emotional tantrum, but they don't actually intend that hundreds of other people get affected by it. They don't even completely understand that the power they hold by doing this, because the person they're doing it with has so much power. So sometimes it's not intentional. Then the karma is much less. But there's still karma because there were still consequences. So you can't escape karma, but the intention will determine how much of the response you get. Okay, so Mantra put a plan in motion. KK executed the plan. Ram has been told to go to the forest. He went to Mother Kaushalya, told her that this is the scenario. He goes back to his room. And this is where I mentioned that it's the first time in Sitaji's company where he Like now he can not be so brave, not be so. And in Tulsi Ramayana, nothing of the sort. He's still completely equipoised and he's still being very brave because he's trying to tell Sita, don't come to the forest. And then some people will use this as, why did Sita get kidnapped? Why did he allow it? Some people use this, well, he warned her not to come to the forest. Now, this is the consequence of her action, that she didn't listen to him and she went to the forest. Some people really like, they can make an argument for anything. Something like wanting to go to the forest doesn't necessarily lead to the karma of you getting kidnapped. I mean, yes, if you see the pattern of events, that is what led to it. But that's not how karma works. Ramchandraji goes, and so, sorry, Tulsi Ramayana, nothing of the sort happens. But in Valmiki Ramayana, where they show Ramchandraji to be a lot more human, there's almost this like, he's, for a few moments, you see that he has maybe not full-fledged sorrow, because it's not that he wanted to be the king so desperately. I mean, you're only that upset when it was a strong desire. But definitely disappointed that he's not going to be there with the family. Yeah. He was very happy for Bharat to become the king. Like, at no point was there any upset about Bharat becoming king. You don't have to exile me to the forest. A bit much. So maybe there was that little disappointment. Also, Ramchandraji knew how much this would hurt Dashrath Maharaj, Kaushalya Mata, and Bharat himself, actually. And so there's this. It's not full-blown sorrow. But in Tulsi Ramayana, it is said that the same face he had when he was told he's going to be the king is the exact same face he has when he's told he's going to the forest. In Tulsi Ramayana, he is Bhagwan and he's unaffected by anything. You see these wonderful smiling pictures of Bhagwan with that gentle smile on their face, and nothing phases that smile. Nothing ever phases that smile. And that's because it's a picture. A real life person doesn't smile like that all the time. And so this scenario gets used to talk about the perfect example of equipoise. Now it is. It is the perfect example of equipoise. Whether it's Tulsi Ramayana, where he has no reaction, I have to go to forest? Okay, I have to go to forest. You want me to become king? Okay, I'll become king. Like someone who's not really a foodie and then you tell them, shall we go to Mexico? Okay, if you want, no problem. And no, I changed mine. Let's go Italian. Okay, Italian. Like, it's, for them, they're not a foodie. It doesn't matter. They're just going to eat for the sake of getting full. Then it's no big deal to them. You tell somebody who's a foodie and has very strong opinions on let's go to, or somebody who is, too fussy. Like you say, let's go Mexican. Too gassy. It's too heavy. Okay, we'll go to Italian. Carbs. So what do you want to eat? I don't know, something interesting. So, not even if you say he was like that, as per Tulsi Ramayana, or if you say, as per Valmiki Ramayana, you're going to become king tomorrow. There's that's nice. It's not that this is not a nice thing. Come on, it's a nice thing. And then you have to go to forest, and it's like, aish, okay, I'll go forest. But there's that slight reaction that does happen. He doesn't fall apart. He's not devastated. There is a disappointment. It's still equipoise. Because equipoise is when that mind isn't going from so high to plummeting so low and then going so high. It's very interesting to watch. I remember when I was still in Melbourne, before I had joined the ashram, I was still a youth member. I used to do so much seva around the ashram. Because, Melbourne, there's no helpers. We only had to go do odds and ends. Can't remember exactly what I was doing. But so we were some event in the ashram we were planning, and it was all working out. I think I wanted to reach out more Balbihar kid in a particular suburb with this particular person. I had networked, I had planned, and then I was like, Swamiji, we're going and we're doing this. Da, 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 da. And I think while I was there, only one phone call came and it all got cancelled and it wasn't going to happen. And then, dong. Like, why? I tried so hard. I invested so much energy in this. I don't like socializing, but I still networked. And I think I must have went on and on and on. Swamiji said, can you see how excited you get? And then how despondent you get? Like, it's really like a yo-yo. And I was like, huh? I wasn't even aware that I had done it. Like, I couldn't even see how high the high was and then how low the low was. Because it's just a Balbihar class in a new suburb. It's not like it's my whole life. It's not even like it's some really big event. But still, the high is so high and then the low is so low. And we don't even notice that we do this. We do this up and down, up and down, up and down. And when we do this, the amount of energy that gets wasted. Because the higher the high is, the mind's so excited. And then the low is, the mind's so restless. And both times, the mind's so restless. The more the mind is restless, the more you're using up energy. Number one. So you're making yourself tired. Number two, when you're so excited or you're so disappointed, you can't think about anything else. Never mind Bhagwan. Even when you're so upset and then somebody asks you what you want to eat for dinner, don't ask me questions like this now. I'll say that whenever you ask. But it's like that, don't. You get so annoyed with them. You're like, but I have to cook. Tell me what you want for dinner. Or any decision, right? Somebody wants to now talk about the upcoming holiday. Where do you want to go? How you want to do? Or whatever. We're not ready to have that discussion. Why? Because mind is not focused. Or rather, it's not in mood. And the same thing when you're in a high. Because when you're in a high, you're thinking only about what you want a high about. And then somebody wants to discuss something else with you, and you're like, no. So these highs and lows don't allow us to have clear thinking. They don't allow us to do all the things that we necessarily have to do. And most of us have trained ourselves to put it aside, focus. And then depending on what it is, we can put it aside and focus. And sometimes we can't put it aside and focus. And so what is equipoise? Equipoise is keeping the mind where we feel whatever it is we are feeling, but it doesn't reach a point of restlessness. And it doesn't reach a point where I can't do what needs to be done. So is there a buffer? Like, does equipoise mean you have no reaction? Not possible. Humans will have reaction. But the range is, instead of that being the range, the range is more like that. range is more controlled. And then does that make life more boring? Well, interesting. It's interesting that people think it will make life more boring. Because, and I guess it's a nice question to ask, sometimes they ask these big questions. Would you rather this or would you rather that? Would you rather not have as strong pain, confusion, and fear? Or would you rather those highly excitable moments and suffer the opposite of that much despair? And I'm sure there's loads of people who will choose the latter. They want they'll deal with the despair, but let me have the high. Just like there's lots of people who tell me they don't want moksha. So when the despair comes, ask them, what would you rather? Because remember, the high isn't love. It's infatuation. Love is a very warm, steady glow. And the high can be winning the race, but success is not a high. Success is a fulfillment that comes from steady growth. I don't know if you see what I'm saying. So we think life is exciting because, well, not we, some people think, because of the highs. But no, the things that make life fulfilling, the things that make life beautiful is love. The feeling of we've grown, we've succeeded. And those are not highs, those are not moments, those are not excitements. Sure, the excitements are fun, but in Equipoise, you still have them. It's just not as. You're still amused and tickled by things. You still, like, disappointed, put off by things. But it's not that extreme oscillating. So there isn't a better example in all of scriptures to show Equipoise, because literally one day he's going to become the king, and next day he's exiled to the forest. Yeah. And it happens in our lives. 1 minute, everything's going as per plan. It changes overnight. Sometimes it's global, like COVID happened and everyone's life changed overnight. Or sometimes it's, you're going to get married and suddenly it's gone. You were promised a promotion and then suddenly you're retrenched. That's the right word, no? Like literally people's life can turn around overnight. And then how much you practiced Equipoise in the other things in life will help you deal with collecting your Equipoise once again here. Now, it's not that it's not when somebody's Equipoise, they may not always be Equipoise, even though Equipoise tends to mean that there's a constant. But, to learn it, there'll be a few times where it doesn't quite work. That doesn't mean the person doesn't have Equipoise. But the idea is to practice it on a more regular basis. So when the bigger things happen, we're not shaken quite as much. So they go up to the forest. No, I need to do the split. I need to do how Sita says, I'm coming with you. Now, this is quite the conversation that happens. This is also another monumental conversation that happens between Sita and Ram. Very often I have heard speakers try to show how Sita was strong. And it's really nice that they do. It's really nice that everyone sees Sita's strength. And they use this as an example. That Ramchandraji says, don't come to the forest. And she says, yes, I will. I know what my duty is. It is strength. But having not yet always also. And I mean, I guess in a time and an historical era where women just did what they told or walked behind literally 2 steps, saying, no, I won't do what you told me, could be seen as a immense strength. I don't think it's that she didn't do what he said that made her a strength. Me personally, this is my opinion. This is not Ramayana. I think willing to go to the forest itself for someone who's lived such a comfortable life. You know, we tell people to come with us to camp in India to ashram. And they like, I don't know if I'll go living in an ashram. And I'll be like, it's fine. There's bed, it's clean, there's hot water. What do you need? No, your bed isn't soft enough. That's true. I am not going to lie to you. The beds are not soft. You know. And then food. I can't eat so much Indian food. One whole week, so much. The face they make. There will be enough food for you to be full. You will go. Sure. It's not like what you would normally eat. Sure, I agree. And can get a bit spicy for people who are not used to it? Yeah. Then you take 2 spoons dal and this much rice and you'll be fine. Till dinner. And then at dinner, you do the same thing. And then when you leave ashram, you can eat as much as you want, whatever you want. Like, it's not the end of the world, right? But some people find it so daunting to have to rough it out. And here Sita is. No ashram, no bed. No tent also, huh? In fact, if you tell me we have to go stay in tents, I'm like, you go. I'm okay with ashram. Tents, I don't know. No tent even she had. Like, to go from such luxury, her whole life, huh? She was born into it. So happily, so willingly. Was it ignorance? No, she knew. Just like Ramchandraji went to Gurukul, she went to Gurukul. She knows. Why? So yeah, I've already said. If you Guruji, Swamiji will say, first duty of a wife is to follow her husband. I'm not going to counter that because I will not counter my gurus. But here, it could just be that she loved him so much. It didn't matter. You don't need all the comforts. How much strength is there in that love? And actually, if you take it this way, if you take it that, I love you more than any difficulty I have to face. If you take this to be Sita's strength, then you can use it for everything. Why is Sita okay with being exiled at the end of the Ramayana? Because she was. Many other people are not okay with Sita being exiled, but Sita ji was okay with it. What? I love you more than any difficulty that I have to endure. And then they say Sita goes into the fire and Mayavi Sita comes out and they know the kidnapping is going to happen. Why would Sita ji do that? I love you more than anything. Any difficulty that I have to face. Means whatever the price I have to pay for loving you, I will pay. Like that's really strength. In today's world, if you tell women Sita ji's strength was she was following her husband, a lot of women don't want to be that. Right, wrong, I don't know. There's benefits to it, right? There's loyalty, there's putting family first, there's seva bhav, there's humility, there's many good things that come from that. But truth is, or today's world, it's not as much respected. But if you see her strength as being able to love above and all challenges and obstacles, that you can respect no matter what is currently going on in social norms. Whether it's a man or a woman. And that's a humongous strength. And how many of us can do that? Because that's completely selfless. Like, no condition whatsoever. Our love tends to have conditions. And the first condition, of course, is I love you if you love me back. But actually, you can't stop loving them, even when they don't love you back. You can be upset that they don't love you back, but you'll still love them. You can want them to love you back, but you'll still love them. And maybe you don't see this as much in romantic relationships, even though it's true in every relationship. You'll see with parent and children. And you're thinking, of course the children love back. I don't know. You're looking at me like I'm saying something horrible. I promise you, there's plenty children who do love back, but there's plenty who are so much loving. Parent will still love. Parent will still give. But at some point, they might also say, enough is enough now. Most of you couldn't think of that option. Sometimes financially, and then you just can't do anything. Yeah. You might still love them, but you don't want to be with them and deal with them anymore. Can be. It does happen. I guess I see a lot more. But here Sita has no condition on how much she will love. Why does she go to forest? No, she would rather be with Ram. It's as simple as that. She would rather be with Ram. than be a queen in Ayodhya. Romantically, most of us would think, yeah. Romantically, we would think, yes. Of course, we would rather be with our loved one in some palatial comfort. And it's not necessarily easy. If you actually had to do it, I don't know how many of us would be able to. Because it seems romantic. And then we see in life too, they start off with that sense of it being highly romantic and then changes when the suffering or the discomfort or the gossip starts or whatever, and then they realize because it was infatuation, it wasn't love, it didn't last. All of that happens. So Sita Ji's strength, Ramchandra Ji says you don't have to come. And that's also his greatness. And sometimes we don't give Ramchandra Ji enough credit. Always trying to make sure Sita Ji gets enough credit. Sometimes Ramchandra Ji really gets the raw deal. Some people praise him just because he's around. There's no other need to praise him. But actually, like, you'd want her to come, right? Like, I'm going to have to go through this hardship. No, would be nice. You also come be with me. It will make the hardship that much more pleasant to deal with if you are there. But only you have to be there happily. If you come and then you're also complaining all the time, then the hardship becomes worse. But he doesn't impose the hardship. That's his level. So I have to suffer, but I don't want you to suffer. He's also very sweet. And actually, like I said already, Ram and Sita's romance is probably one of the best. They're just so sweet with each other. So he says you don't have to come. She says, yes, I am going to come. She does say, I know what is my duties. There is that line in the Ramayana. In Valmiki, there's not much discussion. No, in Tulsidas Tree, there's not much in discussion. In Valmiki, there's a bit more discussion. But end result is, he's happy to take her, she's happy to go. In the midst of this conversation happening, Lakshman barges in. Just give me the approval round, Bhaiya. I'll go and deal with Mother KK. Lakshman had no filter. And he was willing to protect Ramchandra Ji against anyone. Anyone. Janak Maharaj is a realized being. He says something, Lakshman is like, excuse me, how dare you say that? Not those exact words, but jumps up to defend Ramchandra Ji. Yeah, sure, it's a big deal. Being exiled is a really horrible thing. Lakshman's determined to defend Ramchandra Ji. Father doesn't really want you to go. I already heard. Father said, don't go. You don't have to listen to that woman. Suddenly they all said Maya, huh? Suddenly from Maya, she becomes that woman. He refuses. He never calls her Maya again. You went against Ram like what? Like his loyalty to Ram is just so clear. Like Ram will forgive her. He doesn't forgive. Ramchandra Ji will tell Lakshman, forgive her. Yes, Bhaiya. Because if Ramchandra Ji says it, he'll do it. But he's not calling her Maya again. He's not overly affectionate to her again. Lakshman and Shatrughan are twins, and this way they both very similar. Their loyalty is fierce. And even Shatrughan, because KK's exiling Ram causes Bharat so much pain. Shatrughan doesn't forgive her. You caused my Bharat pain? And Bharat says, you're not my mother anymore. So Shatrughan, for sure, you're not my mother anymore. Bichari KK, the only person that's still considered her mother is Ram, the one she exiled. The other three sons, she lost. Even after Ram forgave her, Bharat doesn't go back. Bharat goes every morning to Mother Kaushalya's palace to take blessing. He never visits KK again. Except to, administratively. You okay? No pipes leaking? like really that kind of administrative. Not even like sun checking up and it wasn't like that. It was, as a king, my duty is to make sure the praja is looked after, the palace is maintained. That's how he checked in on her after that. So where was I? Yes, Lakshman comes in with full fury. I will go deal with Lakshman. Okay. And I love how Lakshman is so confident. Yeah. Like, I will deal with Janak Maharaj. I will deal with Vashita. I'll deal with it. Like Dashrath Maharaj can't deal with her. Ramchandraji could have, but doesn't deal with her. Lakshman's convinced he can solve this. Like how much, this is the spirit of a devotee. One needs to be in hand. I'll do it. Like Lakshman's truly embodied the spirit of the devotee. Firstly, nobody messes with Bhagwan. He's the best. Don't say otherwise. If you say otherwise, you're in trouble with me. It's such a beautiful sentiment Lakshman has. And then the second sentiment says, what has to be done? I'll do it for you. But you just sit and relax. I'll take care of it. This is really Lakshman's. When you see devotees sometimes, when you see the painting, usually perfect picture of devotee that you'll see is Mirabai sitting playing her. Ek tara, do tara. Is it a sitar? You can't carry a sitar around. It's so big. It's like you get those smaller ones, no? That you can carry around. Two strings are there. Not that I know so much about instruments. Anyways, that's the picture, right? Of devotee. Or picture of devotee, ISKCON people singing on the streets. Stereotype of devotee is somebody who's not doing much. This is very bad advertising. We need to change this poster. The campaign needs to be totally revamped. Picture of devotee, Lakshman. Lakshman saying, don't mess with Ram. That should be the poster of a devotee. Or Lakshman saying, tell me what needs to be done. Just say the word. Tell me what needs to be done. I'll do it. He is not even standing with both legs in one spot. One leg's already out the door. I'll go do it. And the Ramchandraji is like, calm down. No, I'll do it. It's so much dynamism, so much energy, so much determination, and so much confidence. Like not shadow of a doubt in Lakshman's mind. Can I do? Like KK already, whole kingdom is shaking now. Ram's been exiled to follow his heart. What can I go and say to? None of that. None of that. There's so much confidence. I'll do. This is where you see Swami Vivekananda say, low self-esteem or lack of confidence in being able to do the Lord's work is sin. Yeah. Swami Vivekananda very strong. I don't know if I can sin. It's Bhagwan's work. How dare you? If it's Bhagwan's work, you get to it. Today, if I can do a good job, that failed. In not being a devotee, in doing good karma. Doubting yourself, in Swami Vivekananda's words, is sin. I remember the first time I read that, I was like, oh no. I've collected a lot of sin. Most NRI kids, right? They have that wonderful saying, A, B, C, D. You all know this. American born confused faces. What are they confused about? I'm not good enough. Sin. You are from Raghu Vamshi dynasty. Most of us are from some great lineage. How can you doubt? If work has to be done, do. If you can't do, find someone who can do. It's true, right? I gave this example in my chick class yesterday. Last year I decided we will do Kirtan and this stuff. Do. Can I sing? Not at all. Then no problem if I can't sing, we'll find. You can sing, come. You can't do, there's no problem. You can find someone else to do. Find a way to get it done. It's so interesting, even I'll give seva, especially during COVID when everything went online. Okay, chalo, we have to start teaching Bal Vihar online. Some teachers are like, I can't. I don't know all the Zoom and everything. Others were like researching, figuring it out, finding different apps, finding how to create games, finding how to. All of us were in the same boat. None of us took Zoom classes before. But so different. I can't, I'll figure it out. And then there were a lot of the in-between ones. Not that they were, master apps. They were just managing the setting on Zoom. How did the class go? I mute myself. It was really good. The kids could hear me. I'll be like, awesome. Couldn't work out the breakout room, Swaminiji. Doesn't matter. The kids heard you. Very good. By year 2 of online, everyone knew basics. Let them in. Start meeting. How to mute them. When I learned that, it was awesome. I said, don't talk. I already said, okay. You can't do that in person. You have to enjoy the small part. Very few perks of online. Am I saying Lakshman is showing us the spirit of devotion? Devotion is dynamic. Devotion is a wanting to do, a wanting to serve, and a wanting to do it efficiently. So passionate. Like you see, Ram and Lakshman are always together, and Ramchandraji is that perfect picture of equipoise we've just spoken about. And Lakshman is like this soda bottle. Comes in charging. He didn't knock, huh? Bang the door open. Bollywood movie. Shoes on, bow and arrow in hand, one hand ready to leave. I'll go deal with it. When I see this scene in my head, I see Ramchandraji smiling so sweetly at Lakshman. Because how can you not? When someone is so loving, when someone is so passionate, and when someone is so fiercely protective of you, how can you not? Right? Smile affectionately at their quirks, even even if what don't do that, but she's smiling. This is really beautiful. So then, of course, Ramchandraji says there's no need to go and say anything to Mother Keke. I've already accepted and I'm going. And this is Lakshman's reaction. I am maha paraphrasing. Means this is not verbatim at all. What is Lakshman's reaction? I knew you'd do that. Of course you'll accept the exile. I already told Mother Sumitra and my wife that I'm coming with you. You don't have to come. Don't bother. I'm coming. Yeah, okay, come. That's basically the conversation. That's the essence of what happened. Very long, elaborate conversations that happen in the Ramayana, but this is the essence of it. Ramchandraji's dialogue is far more respect. I mean, Lakshman's dialogue is far more respectful, saying things like being the embodiment of Dharma. Of course, you will live out a promise even though you don't need to, and all this kind of beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So Mother Keke already had 3 outfits made because Mantra already knew that Sita would go and Lakshman would go. She only exiled Ram, but she had all 3 outfits made. This was really neat. They had to leave all jewelry, all their nice clothes, everything, and wear bark and leave for exile. That's the terms of going into exile. Most Hong Kong people don't know what bark is. Technically, you all might know that it's the thing of what comes off the tree. But if you've ever felt it, it's so uncomfortable. Imagine wearing bark. And this is where you see that. This is where I was saying action has consequences. Exiling was enough. Why make them do this? Remove every last piece. Why you cannot take my jewelry? At which point Dashrath is weeping. Like, how can Sita remove her jewelry? This is more cultural than religious, spiritual. The daughter-in-law is dressed to indicate how well she's being looked after by the in-laws. You strip off all her jewelry is a maha insult to the in-laws. Sometimes Indians take this very seriously. The amount of jewelry the daughter-in-law is wearing is a clear indication of how well the in-laws are taken care of. This is really, it was social norms of the time. Also, it used to be, and to some extent till today. And people like being dressed up. You feel good. And then if somebody else pampers you with all those pretty things, you feel scared. So I think that's still there today also. Maybe not quite as rule. In those days, it was a rule. Like a married woman has to wear bangles. If you have bare wrists like this, inauspicious, it's considered inauspicious. Has to have her Mangal Sutra. Has to have, tell me no married woman, her earrings. Have to wear earrings. And then sindur, right? Bindi, sindur. Those are it. There were 7 things. Sindur, bindi, earrings, bangles, Mangal Sutra, only 5. We're missing 2. Flowers in the hair. I think that was the one of the first that got left. They used to put flowers in the hair. Something in the hair. Something should go in there. Was it piles? It was piles? I don't know. The ring toes or rings? Yeah, some of those got lost earlier in terms of social norms. Today, the one that's still there is only bangles. Right? I think even Mangal Sutra they don't wear in. That should have been the one that got kept. Instead, we have westernized and they wear the ring. I think quite a few families still do the bangles, though. I have seen. It will be bracelets, it won't be bangles, but something on the hand. The hand is not there. I've still seen quite a few families who follow that. I have seen quite a few families who follow Mangal Sutra also. It's not completely gone. So, what was I saying? To make Sita take out all of that is just harsh. Even today it would be harsh, but in those days where the norm was so much more, really harsh. And so here you can see, KK has, like when the mind gets into that, we get into a mood, right? Of spite, of wanting to hurt, of wanting to belittle. And it's so weird that we can get like that. Like generally on it, just like right now, if most of us, we're sweet only. Why we get like that? And KK is showing us that all of us can. This mindset is not something that's specific to KK. It happens. Petty almost in our spite? Now it's no more just she wants Bharat to be king. Now it's become malice. Making them wear bark, taking Sita, take up everything. So 3 of them go. And Chinese whispers spreads really fast. Within minutes of Ramchandraji leaving the Krodha room where he was exiled, all of Ayodhya already knew what happened. Half were in shock, half were in disbelief. No, but mostly everyone was devastated. And this is so sweet. This is why I said Sita, when she makes the decision, it must have been out of love, because you see this line. Half the people in Ayodhya, or more than half the people in Ayodhya, when they hear Ramchandraji is leaving, they go into their homes and they start packing. We'll go with him. No point in being in Ayodhya if Ram's not here. Not just like hearsay or token. They were serious. They actually start packing their clothes. Poor Ramchandraji, Sitaji, and Lakshman had to wear bark clothes and leave with nothing. But all the Ayodhya Vasis were packing. Burtan, clothes, favorite soft toy, chalo. Ready, let's go forest. Like, but you can see the Ayodhya Vasis are like kids, right? Like in the house, like if some hardship is coming, and then the kids are like, "We'll help you." But such sincerity and such sweetness. Literally, they started packing, and as Ram walked on the street, each house he passed, they were waiting. They joined, and they all of them joined. Ayodhya was left pretty much empty, except for the army. And Ramchandraji is, I think I've already mentioned, Ramayana is a great study of management. Ramchandraji's presence of mind, when he notices that everyone's following him, he tells Lakshman, go tell the army to come and take guard of Ayodhya. And tell some of the army to come and escort all these people to protect them. Ram Rajya means where a king cares so much, where a king is so responsible. Like he's being exiled. He still has presence of mind to think, all these people are following me. They need to be looked after. The city is being left unguarded. Thieves could come, loot their homes. Ayodhya didn't have any thieves, but if you leave Ayodhya like this, from elsewhere they'll come. Right? Look at his frame of mind. It's too good. Like, it's really, really phenomenal. And so only the army was left in Ayodhya. Everybody else followed Ramchandraji to the forest. And of course, in the beginning, everyone has a great, we coming, yay! Like, who cares what KK is done? We won't let her get us down. After 3 hours of walking, so they packed, remember? They got heavy saman. You walking is hot. It's gonna be tiring. But even there, you see Lakshman helping people, Ramchandraji himself helping people, each other helping each other out. And so when we talk about Ram Rajya, like when Ayodhya temple opened and it's Ram Rajya again, the Ram Rajya is when people are like this, where they put Ram first, where they're so helpful, where they're so considerate, where they're so responsible. Everyone leaves. Everyone leaves Ayodhya. Should we stop here? I wanted to tell you all about Lakshman. Okay, I'll tell you because I really want to tell you. We have to come back to this bit that I'm not telling you. So they walk till the village, which is outside of the city of Ayodhya, where the king Nisarada Maharaj lives. And him and Ramchandraji are supposed to be good friends. We don't see very little of their interaction, so you can't see so much of their friendship. But if it's said they're good friends, they're good friends. Who are we to question? But at night, Nisarada Maharaj is so annoyed. Like Ramchandraji and Sita ji are gone to sleep. All the Ayodhya Vasis are gone to sleep. I'll elaborate more on that next week, if you all remind me. Otherwise, it won't happen. And then this king is asking Lakshman, how can Mother Keke do such a thing? What kind of mother exiles a son from them? How can such a woman be allowed to continue to exist in Ayodhya? And like so angry with Mother Keke. Like he's looking, and from a distance they can see that Ramchandraji is sleeping on the floor. It's like, how can you make Ramchandraji sleep on the floor? Why didn't you deal with Mother Keke, Lakshman? And here Lakshman gives the Lakshman Gita, which is so beautiful, the Lakshman Gita. And what's the first thing Lakshman says? You can't blame mother thinking. Everyone gets the consequences of their actions. Remember I said Lakshman was your perfect devotee? He knew. Lakshman has full knowledge. Lakshman knows if this is happening, there has to be a reason for it to be happening. Nothing happens without everything making it to be what it needs to be. Yeah? Action, consequence, cause, effect, cause, effect. Lakshman has proper, complete understanding. Then why did he barge into Ramchandraji's room? Just because you know that this consequence has come to this action doesn't mean you don't try to do what you can do in that moment. So the kid didn't study, failed royally. Don't say good. You didn't study, you deserve to fail. No, he's crying. Give hug. Then when he says, I should have studied, next time you can study. There'll be more tests, don't worry. This is what Lakshman is doing. It's not that Lakshman didn't understand that it happened for a reason. But he still behaved in a way that made Ramchandraji smile. He still behaved in a way that made all the mothers feel Ram is loved so much. Lakshman will stand up for him. Yeah? He still behaved in the way where Sita ji probably giggled. This little banya of mine. Because she treated Lakshman as a son, right? True to his personality. Not feeling helpless, like, okay, my karma, I have to go to the forest. No helplessness. And then he explains this line that I started the class with saying, life is karma, action, consequence. What action did Ramchandraji do to get this consequence? So many. Was he a horrible person? That's why he got exiled to a palace? No, not at all. He's Ramchandraji. How can he be a horrible person? He promised so many saints and saints he'll give darshan. So now he has to go forest to give them darshan. He only made promise. Now consequence, you have to fulfill the promise. When Narad Muni cursed him, he said, Tatastu. Now the Leela has to play out. So he has to go to forest. When all the devatas gathered and said, Bhagwan, please come to earth to kill Ravana, he said, Tatastu. So now he has to go. Ramchandraji understood this. Lakshman understood this. Doesn't mean they didn't do what could be done in that moment. To show us how to behave. So nice, no? Lakshman's too cool, man. Underrated character after Ramayana. When I first heard the Ramayana from Swamiji, my favorite was Lakshman. Now my favorite's all of them. Okay, we'll pause here now because enough talking. Questions too, right? No, you can ask. Anyone has questions. Online people have questions. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina Sarve Santu Sarve Asato Ma Mrityurma Amritam Ramaya Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Guru